Good evening and welcome to this special live edition of VTV News. You are looking live at the town hall meeting going on as we speak in Furman Hall. This is the big town hall about the non-discrimination policy, and let's go there live now to check out what's going on. Let's see if we can hear anything that's being talked about right now. Let's go live.
For an organization where there's even a chance that the leader doesn't actually believe what that organization is saying, how can they invest in me and truly uphold the ideals of that organization?
Does your faith allow people who don't believe as you do to join your organization?
They do. Like it does. Like Christianity, as Joseph said, is the ultimate, in my opinion, all-comers policy. We want everyone to come and we want to accept everyone, and we truly do love everyone on this face of the planet. The same way I love everyone that's in this room and on this campus today. But it is one thing to be a professor who can teach about something without believing it but know it. It is something very different to sit down with me in Starbucks and spend 3 hours letting me talk about my day and imparting wisdom to me that truly can affirm me in my faith and affirm me in my life and affirm me in my decisions so that I can go out and affirm other people on this campus.
I'm part of leadership on Graduate Christian Fellowship, and we're another one of those groups where we have the all-comers policy. We welcome anyone and everyone to be part of our members, part of our meeting.
Again, that is live footage of the town hall meeting going on in Furman, a very contentious issue. Now, it's been going on for about an hour and a half now. We will have a live report from Kyle Blaine, the director of InsideVandy, who has been following this story from the very beginning. Of course, there has been a lot of attention given to this. Earlier tonight, there was a big crowd outside Furman. I think we have footage of that to show you real quick, just to show you how many people were outside. Just take a look at this. This is all outside Furman Hall. You can see just the massive amount of people who are outside here. Truly, this has got the attention of the campus everywhere. And of course, this has been going on for a while now, this issue. Let's take a look at the timeline of events of how this happened. Okay, starting back in August of 2010. A member of Bucks was allegedly asked to leave because he was gay. That was in late August. In November 5th, 2010, The Hustler published an article about a former member of Beta Epsilon Chi, which is the Christian fraternity on campus, of course, alleging that fraternity leaders encouraged him to leave the group after he came out as gay in the summer of 2010. That was really when the attention was grabbed on this story. Then again, back in late November of 2010, that was when the formal complaint was filed to Dean Mark Bandis that a student had been asked to leave that chapter of Bucks. Then in December 8th, 2010, the university removed a clause of its non-discrimination policy in the student handbook. As we learned today, and as you'll hear in a moment from Kyle Blaine, it was never removed from that policy itself, just the student handbook. We'll learn more about that in a moment. September 27, 2011, the university conducted a study and found 4 of 36 religious organizations were in violation of the non-discrimination policy. No decision was made then regarding the religious groups on provisional status. Then, on October 6, 2011, 23 members of Congress sent Chancellor Zepos a letter. This was from the Prayer Caucus, and they urged him to allow religious groups to choose their leaders freely on Vanderbilt's campus. Then, a few weeks ago, January 20th, not even a week ago, the Chancellor sends a campus-wide email outlining the university's stance on the non-discrimination policy, and he also announced the town hall meeting that is going on right now. Again, we will have a full report about what is going on at the town hall meeting from senior reporter and InsideVandy Director Kyle Blaine. He sat down with Sam Malik on Morning View this morning. Here's some highlights of that interview. Take a look.
Director of InsideVandy.com, and he's been reporting on the recent religious controversy on campus. Kyle, welcome to the show.
That's it.
Let's jump right into it. Could you tell me a little bit about how this so-called religious controversy began?
Yeah, it begins about fall 2010 is really where you have to go, and it's when the Christian fraternity on campus, Beta Upsilon Chi, asked a member of its fraternity to leave the organization because he was gay, and because he accepted that he was gay, and because he came out over the summer. After that happened, the Hustle reported on it in November, and the university began looking into it. And while they were dealing with Bucks, they took a look at other organizations on campus and their constitutions and how that really, are there anything in the constitutions that violate the non-discrimination policy in a way that Bucks did? And when they did that, they did find some violations, and that's kind of sparked this entire controversy.
So the issue now is about the non-discrimination policy and the way it's been implemented. Is there a change in the policy? Is this something new?
Well, I wouldn't call it a change. The non-discrimination policy was written in the 90s, and it's the policy that you see in the student handbook today. The university, the best way to describe it, I would say, would be to say that the university is finally asking groups to come into compliance with their non-discrimination policy. And if there has been any change, they're now specifying exactly how their non-discrimination policy applies to those groups and what it means for leadership and membership.
Now, back on Restore Religious Freedom at Vanderbilt for a moment, they're using a quote from Supreme Court Justice Alito that reads, "A religious body's right to self-governance must include the ability to select and be selective about those who will serve as the very embodiment of its message." So what does this mean, and also what does it mean as we're a private school?
Well, I think that the quote accurately represents the spirit of what these groups are trying to tell the university. However, I've seen the quote used as a way to say the Supreme Court disagrees with Vanderbilt University, and that is just on its face false. The quote comes from a case that was decided recently that really has no facts similar to what occurred here. It was dealing with church groups and selection of ministers within churches. There is Supreme Court legislation that deals with this issue. If people are interested in looking at it, it's Christian Legal Society v. Martinez. And in that decision, the Supreme Court upheld the implementation of an all-comers policy, which is what the university is trying to do here. So I understand the spirit of the quote. I would say that it's a little misleading to suggest that the Supreme Court disagrees with the university.
Now, you're talking about student organizations more broadly here. Some people, I think, get the feeling that this policy is only targeting religious groups specifically. Is this the case? What about political groups or Greek organizations that make cuts or have specific leaders with specific ideologies?
I'll get to the two things you just mentioned, but I would say that the university is also thinking about student groups more broadly, and they don't see many distinctions in the way they're applying their non-discrimination policy among student groups. They're going to treat Christian Legal Society the same way they treat MANA, for example.
Right.
So I think that it's an equal application of the policy. Now, I think maybe the question you want to ask is, does the policy inherently put undue burden on religious groups? And I think that's a matter up for opinion. But if you look at political groups, there is nothing in the non-discrimination policy that says you can't discriminate based on political belief.
Okay.
It's just sexual orientation, religion, race, and gender. Greek organizations have a Title IX exception. If people want to know what that means, they should probably look it up because it is a lengthy explanation. Basically, it means is that Greek groups social fraternities and sororities do get some exceptions under the law. So they're kind of a different territory.
Okay, so it doesn't apply necessarily
in the same way.
Same way.
Yeah.
Okay. Now on to tonight. Tonight's the much anticipated town hall meeting, and it was originally announced by Chancellor Zeppos himself. So obviously it's an issue that's important to the whole school. Why is tonight so important?
I think tonight's important because very rarely do you get to see a university, especially our university, define its values so publicly. And I think that it's really, you're going to see a clash of worldviews that I think is a microcosm for what is occurring around the United States over these issues. And so I think it's a valuable educational experience, and I think that there's a lot at stake. If you have a horse in the race, there's a lot at stake.
Okay. And you recently sat down with the provost, I understand.
I sat down with him last night.
What did he have to say about tonight?
Yeah, well, we talked about what to expect, and you know, the town hall is pretty much going to go. There's going to be an introduction by the moderator, who's a dean from the Divinity School, and the provost and Dave Williams, who's the chief counsel to the university, will then give about a 5 to 10 minute presentation about the policy, clearly articulate the policy, and then open the floor to questions. So there's definitely a lot of room for debate at the town hall, and a lot of room for some heated discussion. So we'll see how it ends up.
Okay. And now we are joined by the man himself, Kyle Blaine, tonight, live. He's in Furman Hall. Kyle, what is the mood there right now tonight still?
Andrew, someone just left now, and as she was exiting, she said, "That room is charged." And I think that is the best way to describe the feeling inside that room. It is full. The room holds 203 people, but there are also about 30 people standing in the halls. It is a tense room. The discussion has been civil, though, with few exception. Everyone is getting a chance to air their views, and it's still going on, although people are starting to leave sporadically.
And now you say there have been some moments where it's got intense. What were the issues of contention when it did get that tense?
Really, the issues came down to miscommunication between the university and these groups that has been kind of going on for about a year now. And the university acknowledged that there's been a miscommunication, and they apologized for it. Really, though, the charged moments have been moments where there's been sort of a demonstration done by the religious groups. The first question the first person who posed a question, rather, asked everyone who opposed the policy to stand up, and they were all wearing white, and they all did. And then there was a very charged answer from the provost who said, "This is not a random sampling of the campus." And then David Williams chimed in with, and there would have been the same reaction to people who opposed integration in the 60s. So definitely some charged words from both sides.
So you know, you have been following this story. You were the first to break the story about Bucks. So do you feel like this is a culmination of everything that's transpired? Does it feel like that there?
There is a sense of...
And we are live via Skype right now, and it seems we have lost Kyle. So we will try to get him back here in the coming moments. And it seems like, do we have him back? Kyle, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So does it feel like a culmination? Well, technology is not being our friend here tonight. New technology for VTV.
Seem to understand.
So,
good for the issue for coming to the table.
Okay, Kyle, say that again. You're breaking up a little for our audience. Can you repeat what you just said?
I was basically saying this does feel like a culmination. There are... I think everyone is really clear about what the policy means now, how it applies to them, and I think there are a few groups here who might leave with their minds changed about how they feel about the policy.
Have they changed their minds towards which position? Towards the university's position?
Towards, basically, maybe not in full support of the university's position, but I think that many groups here are going to leave tonight feeling maybe that the university's position doesn't violate their general principles as much as they thought it had before coming to this meeting.
Obviously, this has been a contentious debate from the beginning. So it sounds like if people are changing their mind, do you think the university comes out looking better than they did before this town hall meeting?
It's going to take some time, Andrew, to really make that determination. From my impression, I think the university has best articulated its position than it has in any meeting I've been with them and any meeting that, from what I hear, religious groups have been with them. So I think that they, if anything, this has been the clearest, most concise articulation of the policy.
What do you think happens tomorrow in terms of public discourse about this issue?
I think you'll find people, I think you find a lot of people who have their minds changed, but I also think there's that core group of people who are just going to come out of this the way they came in and really didn't come here to have their mind changed.
Anything else you want to add tonight, Kyle?
There's nothing more I need to add. I think we got out most of it. Just look for a wrap-up article on InsideVandy and a wrap-up video on VTV News. So,
thank you, Kyle. Kyle, right now live at the town hall meeting in Furman Hall. Well, Well, that will do it for this special edition of VTV News. Again, like Kyle mentioned, we will have a full video recap of the town hall meeting this Thursday at 7 p.m. live on VTV News. Join us then. And for all of us here at Vanderbilt Television, have a great night.